The rapidly intensifying conflict between Israel and Palestinian militants roared into a second day Sunday. The new fears the surprise attack could spark an even wider Middle East war. Today, the Pentagon ordered U.S. warships and forces in the region to move closer to Israel, including the aircraft carrier Gerald R. Ford, currently deployed in the Mediterranean. Israeli soldiers today battled Hamas militants at the country's southern border. Hundreds have been killed on both sides, the U.S. saying some may be Americans. They include at least 260 Israelis attending a music festival near the border. Hamas claims to hold more than 100 people hostage. Israel has responded with fury. Fighter jets taking aim at targets in the Palestinian territory. Here in New York, hundreds of Israeli and Palestinian supporters held rival rallies in Times Square. And at the U.S. Capitol today, the flag was lowered to half-staff in solidarity with Israel. And CBS's Holly Williams is in Tel Aviv tonight and leads us off. Holly, good evening.
Good evening, Jerika. Here in Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his country is now engaged in a, quote, long and difficult war. Hamas gunmen smashed their way through the barrier that Israel uses to contain Palestinians in Gaza. The militants, designated as terrorists by the US, fired waves of rockets into Israel and arrived by sea and even in paragliders. It was a complex and coordinated attack. What followed was a bloodletting. This Israeli soldier was apparently lynched on camera. Civilians were slaughtered on the highways and in the towns of southern Israel. In Sderot, around 2 miles from the border with the Gaza Strip, Hamas gunmen overran the police station, killing dozens. It's now a charred ruin. Minutes after we arrived today, we heard gunfire, and an Israeli SWAT team moved in.
So the police told us to get down.
Later, the police told us there was no militant, and an Israeli citizen had accidentally been shot and injured. Their nervousness isn't surprising. Hamas also took hostages, including women, children and the elderly. They paraded some of them through the streets of Gaza. Israel says among them are US citizens. Dikla Arava was taken captive along with her family. The militants live streamed it on social media.
What do you want Israel's government to do to try and bring your sister and her children and her husband home?
Everything they can do.
What happened today has never been seen in Israel, said Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. We will take mighty vengeance. To accomplish that, Israel's pummeling the Gaza Strip with hundreds of airstrikes, demolishing this 14-story building that it says was used by Hamas. This region has been locked in a cycle of violence for decades. But Jerika, many people here are demanding to know how Israeli intelligence could have failed to detect and disrupt the planning for such a massive assault.
Holly Williams for us, thank you, and thank you to the crew out there.